Hey guys, what is up? It is Bib07 here again, and welcome to another RuneScape 3 vlog here today. In this video, we're going to be talking about this week's patch notes that were released and some of the outrage that has been going around on Reddit and stuff, as once again, they've not told us anything that's coming in the near future, and this update this week, they had some highly suspicious things in the patch notes, similar to how last week they completely misled us with the title in referencing Calfight King changes that were essentially non-existent. Before I jump into the video though, I do want to take a little bit of time here to plug a couple of things that I've gone ahead and set up on my channel, and I don't really expect anybody to pay for any of this stuff, but I figured I'd set it up because I think it also does help with my channel getting recommended and stuff. But I'll leave a timestamp in the description if you want to go ahead and skip all of this and get into the patch notes themselves. But anyways, the first thing is, which I also mentioned in my video yesterday, I have set up a Discord server for, just to have some people join and talk about the game, my videos, and whatever in the chat there. And we've actually had quite a few people join, so thanks to everybody who has so far. But if you do want to join, there is a link in the description to join that. And yeah, go ahead and join that if you'd like to talk to me or to anybody about various RuneScape related stuff. Also, I went ahead and set up the membership program for my channel. So there should be like a join button now, and there's also a link in the description if you're interested in that. I have some perks in there for various channels in the Discord and some sneak peeks into upcoming videos and live streams and stuff like that I would do if people did end up signing up for it. Again, I really don't expect anybody to do it. I kind of just did it for the fun of it, and to try and hopefully get my channel more promoted by YouTube, as I believe that does help. But yeah, that is a link in the description, and also the button should be on there. And there's also, lastly, some sort of weird new thing that they came out with, I guess, called applause, which I'd never heard of before, and I've never seen on anyone else's videos, but I was able to enable it, and it's basically, I don't even know exactly how it works, but there's just a button nearby to the likes and dislikes that's called applaud, and you can use that to, I think it costs $2 or something, and I get some of that money, and it shows me that you applauded the video. I have no idea. I really don't know why they even came out with that when they have the join membership and everything. But that's there as well. So yeah, enough of the sellout shilling. I will go ahead and move on now to the updates for the week. And I mean, it's about to be about the same length as that section I just went through because of how little there really is. First of all, they did split up the game update post and the patch notes post again, as I'm sure people were not too happy about them being in as one. However, they really shouldn't have done that, because the game update is actually non-existent. Like, usually there's at least a little something they can put into the game update post as a, thing to highlight, but this time it's literally just some of the patch notes are in there, and then right after that they talk about their Twitch Prime 14 days of free membership. It's actually nothing at all that is even worth making an update post for. And then they talk about their World Cup of quests that they have going on after the Twitch Prime BS, and that is all about stuff that you have to do on Twitter or Instagram if you even want to take part in that. So yeah, I don't really even know why they bothered splitting them out, but they decided to do that. But then the patch notes themselves are a real treat as well. They put some BS about joining forces with the news post last week and how they've split it back up again this week. It's like, yeah, we realize that you guys don't have anything that's coming out anytime soon, and I just don't really know why they're trying to play it off, or make it seem like this is a good thing, or like that people are happy about what's going on. They're just basically being willfully ignorant about all the people that are really upset about the current state of their communications and stuff like that. But either way, they still continue with posts like this, saying things about joining forces with the news post and regularly scheduled installment of the patch notes show. Like, I just don't really, that wording doesn't really appeal to me. But yeah, the first thing on the list is archaeology, and there are improvements listed here. And one of the improvements was actually a nerf to the Divine-o-matic. Apparently they've moved that since, and it's no longer in this section because it didn't make any sense to be there. So we'll get to that when we get to that section, but they mention a slight buff to the Blood Reaver Familiar, which I'm pretty sure will still be useless, and then some fixes for stuff that is not really relevant at all, I don't think. Nothing seemed relevant in there to me. Then we have other. You no longer have to have completed Throne of Miscellanea to travel to the Spirit Tree, which I'm pretty sure you have to plant on there. So that's, I don't know. They basically like nerfed the quest reward a little bit, I guess. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm not going to leave all the way from RuneSpan for this because I have my essence set up and everything, but they list here that invention, farming, and roof crafting teleports will now appear as options for the skills necklace. I assume that means right-click options, but they don't say that I mean, they were already options on the list. They just weren't in the right-click. So if they're in the right-click now, I think that's a good thing. That it's kind of annoying that they weren't before. I'm just going to reply one sec to my friend here. I'll cut this out. Okay, moving on now down this section, by the way, is other, and then it is improvements. Let me see what else they have. They say changes to the giant mole as well. It's the same thing with the Calphi King. They say changes to the giant mole, and the only thing in here is the giant mole minions will now despawn on the death of the boss. Those minions, by the way, have, I think, like 10 health, and I don't think they would ever pose a threat to anybody, but apparently they will now despawn on the death of the boss. So yeah, that's good, I guess. Other than that, a bunch of BS that's not really relevant. They have fixed some graphical stretching or deformities on cows and sheep in the add and remove animal interface, so that's there. And then we're into the other fixes section now instead of other improvements, and I guess this is where they're going to have put the Divine-o-matic stuff, is in other fixes. So they're calling it a fix now. Previously they had called it an archaeology improvement, and now it is an other fix. So quite the reclassification due to the Reddit backlash there. But let's see if there's anything else relevant in here. Apparently they finally have actually fixed the ceremonial sword plan issue where you would have the previous progress like maintained on a new set of plans that you got, which basically meant that the new set of plans that you got couldn't be completed at all, and you would probably get like no reward for them because it's a completely different sword and you can't undo stuff. So that's apparently been fully fixed. They've apparently finally fixed evil trees, which were, I think, unusable prior to this week, and it had been unusable for like 3 weeks, maybe even a month until then, or before then. So that's good. I guess they have fixed that. Not sure what was actually wrong with it, but they basically say you can now interact with them again. They said they fixed an issue with Blood, Third Age, and Shadow Dyed offhand Drygore longswords with some graphical issue there, but apparently in doing so they messed up the colors on, I think it was the Blood Dyed one. I saw a picture on Reddit, so now that doesn't look right. I think they'll probably need to revisit that to fix it. And I think that was just about it. I mean, there's all the normal really small fixes, text typos, all that garbage that you don't really ever want to talk about. One thing that I thought was concerning to read is that they fixed an issue where the potion reservoir could be turned off if a Sign of the Porter, Sign of Life, or Defense Skill Cape perk was used. So that kind of means, I mean, what do they mean by Sign of the Porter? Do they mean Portent of Life by that? I'm kind of confused by how they say Sign of the Porter, because those have nothing to do with the Sign of Life or the Defense Skill Cape perk. Interesting. But the Potion Reservoir could be turned off. I mean, if you Sign of Life because your Potion Reservoir was off from, or because of like your anti-dragon fire ran out or whatever, and then your Potion Reservoir got turned off that you're using. I mean, I don't know. Does anybody use those Potion Reservoirs? It just kind of stood out to me as like a thing that could have been really bad for somebody. But the last thing, so they moved it all the way down to the bottom as well. So it was previously at the very top under archaeology improvements and is now at the very bottom under other fixes, is the fact that they, and now they actually completely changed the entire wording of it, but they essentially nerfed the Divine-o-matic, and the original wording really didn't make a whole lot of sense and confused a lot of people, making them think it was being made even worse than it already was in comparison to the divination relic from archaeology. But basically the only change is if you were using it to siphon energy only, as that was allowing you to technically bypass the supposed feature of the Divine-o-matic, which is to destroy 50% of memories. And when you took the memories to the rift, they would never get destroyed 50% of the time, but now that is what will happen. If you are only siphoning energy and you get all your inventory full of memories, you will have a 50% chance of them being destroyed when you bring them to the rift. So I don't think anybody really was doing that, but maybe you were. Either way, it was still better before this to just use the relic and do normal divination, and it is continuing to be the best. But if you were someone who was siphoning both the energy and the memories with the Divine-o-matic, nothing has changed for you. So it's not as big a deal as people think it is, but still, I just don't see why they even felt the need. Sure, maybe it was a bug, but did it really need to be fixed? Nobody really knew it was a bug. It was just thought that was how it worked, and it was still worse than the actual relic. So now it's even worse than the relic was or is, and all it served to do was confuse people and piss them off because the wording was so bad. So yeah, and then at the bottom after that is just the icing on the cake here, where they put some cheese about. They'd normally write a witty line or two wrapping up the post before sending it out, but they're a little distracted today. And then they say, we've received a mysterious message. Could it be the ninjas? Check back in next week. So they're basically confirming next week is going to be a patch week as well. They thought that this was going to be some cheeky little teaser. Oh my God, next week's going to be a ninja week. Let's get hyped. Like, it's just going to be another patch week. This is our 10th patch week in a row, and we're getting another for the 11th in a row next week. So yeah, things are not looking any better in the near future. So I'm definitely a little bit worried for when anything new is going to come out ever. It is not seeming like that's going to happen anytime soon. And I saw a lot of people on Reddit are complaining about, not getting updates, but personally, and I know a lot of other people as well, wouldn't mind as much that we weren't getting actual updates if they gave us any sort of direction on when we'll expect to get something new, or even just what they're working on at all. I don't understand why it's so hard for them to just say, we're working on this, there's no real release date in sight just yet, we'll let you know when we have more information. Is that really that hard for a multi-million-dollar company to do? I'm just baffled by their incompetence in communicating with their players. It's really weird because they're like swings back and forth, like as the years go by. They'll either just say absolutely nothing and tell us nothing at all about what's coming, or they'll tell us too much and overpromise and say things that are coming that aren't ever coming and get canceled, or they say things are coming sooner, way sooner than they actually are, and then they end up coming out a long time later. I don't know. There's really no winning with their approach to communicating with their players. They really need to, rethink their entire approach there and get it back on track, because people are really not happy. I mean, I was watching the Reddit today. I actually made a post on Reddit asking a question. I think it could be a cool question to pose to you guys as well. If they were to drop a pretty big update at the end of this month without announcing or saying anything about it, would you be annoyed or would you be happy? I'm kind of having a hard time deciding on it personally. I don't really know how I would feel. It would kind of be like, at least we get something finally, but at the same time, it's like, why would you do that? And it just doesn't make much sense. I mean, people aren't going to be happy, in general, I would expect, but I would think something could be, maybe a significant quest would come out, maybe the miscellanea rework, I don't know, something else like that. But I'd just be interested to see if people's thoughts, like, would you be annoyed with a big update that randomly came out and they said nothing about it and basically gave us this content drought with no direction in sight, or would you be, fine with it even though they didn't give us any info? But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Bit of a longer video here than I was expecting because there was so little this week, but I did go on a couple little rants there and I had my shameless plug in the beginning. But yeah, definitely do join the Discord if you guys are interested in keeping up with me on a little bit more of a day-to-day basis. And if you have any questions or anything, want to talk about anything like that, you can go ahead and usually reach me there. I pretty much will respond to anything that's posted in there, and obviously I do read all the comments on the videos as well. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you did miss it, I had a new Hardcore Iron Man episode out over the weekend. As usual, it should be popping up on the screen here towards the end at some point. If you missed that, be sure to check it out. And we'll have another one over next weekend as usual. And any videos that I think up and want to upload during the week will come around as well. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.